It's Thursday. We're live. I'm Andy, which means you are at Live Office Hours, my happy place where I help you build a career you love. And I absolutely love doing it. And I love having you. Welcome. Today, it's all about you. I'm answering your questions. You can ask me anything. We've got a whole hour dialed up just for your issues. So get in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what you need. If you got any questions, put some question marks in front of your question so I can see it, because the chat gets kind of filled. But I love having you all. This is my favorite time of week, and we are on Live Office Hours, episode 20. We're ending up a 6-week uninterrupted run, and I wanted to cap it off really just focusing on the specific issues that you need. Now, before we get into it, I have 4 really quick items that I just want to let you know about. First one is, I love having this conversation not only on YouTube, but across my entire social platform. So after you subscribe to the YouTube channel, all of my entire social platform, all the links to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those are in the description. Connect up with me there. I'd continue the conversation there, or wherever you want to have it, I will be there. The second thing is, if you have not gotten your Interview Intervention Communication That Gets You Hired hardcover, ebook, and audiobook, please do so. It's a $29 book. I bought it for you, so it's zero cost to you. I'm throwing in the $27 ebook and audiobook. It's yours. All this is yours for $7, shipping and handling. I will ship it to you anywhere in the world for $7. One other thing I'm doing on Monday, I've got a special live event. It's a one night only, no replays, so you got to show up. But for all of you career changers, you can rejoice. I know this is a huge issue for a lot of people who just want to make wholesale career changes. So I've got a special event Monday night, 5 p.m. Central Time, where I'm going to review 12 steps to career change success. I'm going to go into detail, the 4 stages of changing your career, the specific steps you need to take, the 14 or 15 terrible mistakes people make. I've used this exact formula not once but twice to make 2 drastic and difficult career changes. It works. I know it works. So I'm going to give you the nitty-gritty of everything that I went through and all the stumbles I made and all the things that you can avoid. I'll make it very, very easy for you. And then after Monday, on Tuesday, we are starting a new live sessions filled round of my job search bootcamp. I run it about every 8 or 10 weeks or so. We've got 5 live sessions that start Tuesday. They run Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So in 9 days, you get about 12 hours of live training with me. And if you can't make the live sessions, it's okay, because everything is recorded for you. But I want to make mention of this today, because today only, well, actually, for the next handful of days, you can have $100 off the base package, the base bootcamp package, but I have 2 higher level packages. One is with a resume review, and one is with a coaching session with me. Those two higher level packages, today only till midnight Pacific time, there's $200 off. But if you want to get the $200 off, you need to act today. It's today only. So all the links to everything I just mentioned are in the description, along with a whole bunch of other free stuff. So go in there, check it out. You've got till midnight tonight on that big discount on the boot camp. But check it out. I would love to have you. If you are, speaking of boot camp, if you are in the chat and you are a boot camper, give me a pound boot camper so I can give you a shout out. If you are on my interview intervention relaunch team, give me a pound I-teamer. I want to give you a shout out. And if you're in both, just give me a pound I'm Andy's favorite in the chat. And so so let's actually, speaking of the chat, let's see who's here. Carrie, good to see you. Torre, great to see you. Mick, good to see you from Houston. Denise, how are you? Mick, oh, wow, questions right away. Questions right away. Okay, Mick, here we go. We're diving in. You're taking us out. 4 minutes in, and we are rolling. Okay, hold on one second. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see it. Mick's question is, some jobs require a degree I don't have, yet I have numerous industry-specific certifications. Is it worth applying for them? If so, what is the best way to get my application resume noticed? Okay, Mick, great question. Great question. So first thing is, I don't know how many years of experience you have. If you have a lot of years of work experience, maybe 5 or more, or 10 or something like that, and you do have industry-specific certifications, it is worth applying to the job, even if it says, you know, preferred requirement or degree required or whatever. Go ahead and apply anyway. Trust me, the employer's job descriptions, regardless of what they say, they're guidelines. In 99% of the cases, they're guidelines. So if you've got the goods, you've got the experience, you've got the certifications, then I would go for it. One thing that I would do on getting your resume noticed is I have a 4-step applicant tracking system beating formula. And as a matter of fact, well, hopefully, is the stream? You guys, I'm assuming the stream health is good. Give me 1 second. My YouTube is rolling here. 1 second. I don't know if anybody else is having issues. Let me just refresh. It looks like the stream is pretty good. Oh, I guess everything's cool. All right, so sorry about that. But Mick, I have a 4-step ATS beating formula. And for everybody out there, first thing that I would do is I would watch, stream is good. Okay. I would watch my free webinar called 3 Secrets to Get Your Resume Noticed. A little on the nose for what you asked, but that's the title of the resume. It's or a webinar. It's very cool. It'll give you an insider's look at how somebody actually looks at your resume, how they scan it. Literally, I show you pictures of where their eyes go. I also highlight the context and the layout, the context of the content and the layout. And then what I do is in that webinar, I also give you a free resume builder. As a matter of fact, you know what? It's somewhere else. But it's kind of a 3-sectioned giveaway. The first one is the resume template. The middle section is instructions on every different section in the resume. And specifically, I give you some qualitative assessment about the career profile, the career highlights, the professional experience section. And then I tell you about them, and then I also give you all the topics that you should cover in each of those sections. And then what I do in the 3rd section of this booklet is my Career Achievements Journal. It's the 14 most important elements that you should be capturing about every project that you're on. And you could use this in a diary-like fashion to think back about your past experience, pull out this information, and this is the information that should go into the resume. And then going forward, you should be using it for every project that you're on by capturing the information while it's fresh in your mind. It's really good, makes for a very, very powerful resume writing, And then what I would do is I would format your resume. So the 3rd step is format your resume according to the instructions that I give you. And the 4th step is I would run it through JobScan. I have looked at a lot of different tools that help you draw the relationship between your resume and a particular job description. JobScan is my favorite tool. I have a referral link to them in the description of this video as well. So in the description of this live office hours session, there's also my referral link to JobScan. So that's what I would do. You should be able to find all the other stuff on the Mile Walk Academy. The Resume Content Builder is a free download when you attend the 3 Secrets to Get Your Resume Noticed webinar. Those are the steps that I would go through, Mick, to do that. And do me a favor, if you start entering your resume into these applicant tracking systems, shoot me an email. Let me know how it goes. Tolray, good to see you. You can't seem to get past the 2nd interview. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but you know I'm going to refer you to the interview course that you are enrolled in. But a lot of times what usually happens in the 2nd interview, if it is a 2nd round with the same people, meaning you talk to somebody, then you talk to somebody else, or sorry, you talk to somebody and then you talk to them again. Usually if you're not getting past the second round, it means you're not developing a deep enough connection and relationship with them. If you're getting past the HR folks or the recruiters in the first round, and then you go into the second round and you're not getting past the second round, it's usually your storytelling issues. So it's the responses and the packaging to the basic questions. I know you have Ace Your Job Interview, master the best responses to the 14 most effective job interview questions. I would focus on that. This is just speculation because I don't know, from a dozen words or so what it likely is, but give that a try. Six Toe from Berwyn. Berwyn, are you loving this sunny weather, my friend? Okay, just graduated with a master's in training and development. Where are the internships for non-active students? Are they only for active students? I don't know. No, I would not say that. I would comb the usual spots like LinkedIn, and some of the boards and some of those other places are very effective vehicles to get internships. The other thing, if you just graduated with a master's, I don't know what school you went to, but virtually every school, whether it's undergrad degree or a master's degree or an MBA or whatever it might be, usually has an alumni website that allows employers to go and put jobs, full-time and internship jobs, on their site. So I would definitely leverage whatever school you just graduated from and make sure that you're taking advantage of all the assets that they have to help you get a job. I know a lot of schools don't only have the alumni website, they actually have career coaches where they offer some counseling advice. They're kind of like counselors that help folks coming out of usually the master's programs. But there are a lot of schools that do that. Maybe yours does. Okay. Denise, how are you? Yep, it is difficult. Denise, I would check out my videos on getting a senior role. I also did live office hours last week on 12 strategies to succeed in executive level roles. And I also have some videos on age discrimination and how to overcome them in interviews. So check those out. Good morning, Julia. Sunshine, how are you? Let me see. Sunshine's got a question. Okay, this is a fantastic question. Sunshine asks, how does one approach applying to multiple jobs at one company without appearing unsure of her own career decision or direction? The positions are project management, analyst, but not coding or technical analyst or coding. I'm assuming that you mean, oh wait, hang on, are those? Okay, wait, all right, let's start that one over again, Sunshine. The dashes threw me off there. Okay, so Sunshine's got a great question. How does one approach applying to multiple jobs at one company without appearing unsure of her career direction? The positions are project management, or an analyst without coding, or a technical analyst which requires coding. So here's what I would say. A lot of project managers that I know, that I've worked with, that we've recruited for our clients, they come up, depending on the route you came up through in your evolution, many of them do technical work early on. Then they start designing software or configuring software, depending on what it might be. Then they move right into the design and architecture phase of their career, and then they start running teams and managing projects. So if you have a lot, and serving as business analysts and technical analysts. So if you have a lot of that in your background and all of those interest you, what I always recommend is that your job search should be driven based on company, not necessarily role. It's more important for you to get in with an awesome company than it is the particular role that you have, because the best companies really know how to treat their employees well. They know how to elevate them. And if you join the right company, you usually don't have the job you joined for very long. And I mean that in a good way, because they know how to elevate you and promote you. So if it was me, I always recommend that you use the applicant tracking system last. So as you are targeting the company and you're putting your resume in with your cover letter, you could do a couple of things. If you feel like you've got the hiring official, the HR or recruiter who's in charge of recruiting for these positions, and it very well may be that they're recruiting for all of those positions, you could send in one email that said, I'm very interested in your organization because I noticed you have a few roles open that I would be very interested in. As you can see from my background, I have experience in, and then you can highlight all, and you can make one collection. And if you can get it into a targeted individual with a nice email and cover letter that draws them to those positions, that's a great route. If you decide to submit your resume to the different applicant tracking system links for each respective position, what I always recommend is mentioning that you did apply to the other jobs, but that it was more important for you to join their organization because you love their organization and you noted that there were a couple of other positions that were very suitable for your background. And if you make the conscious acknowledgement of that, it doesn't look like you're all over the place. It just looks like you're focused on getting into that organization if you target it the right way. But if you start submitting yourself for 10 or 12 positions, and it depends on the size of the company, it is going to look erratic. So that's what I would do. I would just make sure that you were thoughtful about how you communicated the fact that you are interested in that company and notice there are 3 different positions that are suitable for you and that you could do well. And that's how I would handle that. All right. Michelle Middleton, love my boot campers. Yes, Michelle Middleton is a fave. Kim, how are you? All right, Kim, okay. Kim is asking, I'm an executive assistant. I used your approach on my resume. However, I'm not getting any hits on my resume. That includes my intro letter as well. Help. Okay. So Kim, that's a great question. First thing that I would do is I would go back to when I was giving Mick that advice about the 4 steps to the resume. So I know a lot of people say, well, I'm using your approach. But when I see the resumes, I'm noticing that it's not quite down to the level that it needs to be to show the impact that you can make. So much like I gave Mick the 4-step ATS beating formula, that's one route I would take with you. So watch the 3 secrets to get your resume noticed, get the resume content builder, use it to format your resume, run it through JobScan. So go through all 4 of those steps. The other thing that I would do is I have a video on my YouTube channel about how to use statistics to punch up your resume when you're an executive or an administrative assistant. It's a quick clip, it's on my YouTube channel. You should be able to easily find it. I would check that out. And then the other thing that I would do, I don't know your demographic, meaning I don't know where you live, how old you are, how much you earn. I could take guesses at some of this stuff, but one thing that I would highly recommend is I did a live office hours earlier this year called Why Your Job Search is Taking So Long. And that live office hours is focused on how you should allocate your time in your job search so that you are aligning your effort and your activities with those that are most likely to lead to success. So everybody's different depending on how old they are, what they do, how much they earn, where they live, and so on, their education level, things like that. If you check out that live office hours, you will find the right prescription that I recommend for you. So I broke it down by individuals who are over 50, if you earn over 100,000, if you're less than 50, if you earn between say 60 and 100,000, or if you earn less than 60,000. I break it all down. So I would highly recommend checking that one out as well. I'm sure all the combination of all of that will help get you some traction. Hey, Arpi from Hungary, great to see you. Neo from South Africa, great to see you. I have an honors. Okay, wait, here's a question. I have an honors degree in psychology and busy with master's in research psychology. I have been submitting my CVs and getting no responses. Here again, Neo, and for all of you that are submitting your resume and not getting responses, definitely use that 4-step ATS beating formula that I just gave a couple of times over. But one other thing that you need to keep in mind, the applicant tracking systems, assuming you all are submitting your resumes via the applicant tracking system, regardless of who you are, you only have about a 2 to 4% chance of the applicant tracking system actually passing your resume through its technological screen and into the inbox of a recruiter who can look at it. So 97% of resumes that are put in applicant tracking systems are never seen by an individual. You have to understand that. So you're all fighting those odds, regardless of your demographic. So one of the things that I would refer you to is also check out the live office hours I just mentioned to Kim about why your job search is taking so long, and then adjust the activities that you're taking to align with the way I recommend you allocate your time. And it doesn't matter if you're searching 40 hours a week or 4 hours a week. I would break up the activities and how I allocated my time based on the ratios that I give you in that live office hour session. Ro Johnson, how are you? I think this is a question. I have been attempting to re-enter higher education for the past 3 years with no luck. I get interviews, but then hear absolutely nothing back. I have over 13 years experience. Should I move on? Ro, I can't answer that one for you. I don't know what tactics you've been using. So I don't know if you're using all the right tactics and you're still not getting traction. I would actually be surprised. I also don't know how many years of higher education you have before you stopped now that you want to re-enter. So all of that plays a part, and without knowing the tactics that you're using, it's difficult to answer. But here's what I would say. If you love it, I would keep going, and I would try different tactics. And here again, I would refer you to the same thing. I would go back to my live office hour session on why your job search is taking so long and check that one out. It really, really will help you. It really will. Hey, Ingrid's a boot camper. Hey, you are welcome for the book, and hopefully one day we will meet and I will sign it. Well, you are welcome for that. And Stephanie Delaney, hope you got my emails this morning. Boot camper from North Carolina. Let's see what you need. The market is described as very tight. What does that mean for both job hunter and employer? Does the strategy and activities across hunt change? And if so, elaborate. Okay, so, all right. I'm not sure who used the job search is tight. I know you've never heard me say that, because I would never say that, regardless of what was going on in the market. I would describe the job market in a few different ways. When the market is heated, that's a word I might use, and employers are feverishly trying to hire people because they're trying to grow, because their products are taken off, or their services are taken off, or there's high demand. Employers get very reckless about their screening process because they need employees, they need bodies, basically. That is not the market we're in. That was the market we were in 2007 and 6 and 5. And companies were overpaying, they were overhiring, and their fundamentals as far as the relationship between their service orders and product orders and what they were doing and the value it was bringing to the world was all out of whack. That has not happened since. And then we had a market that was very soft. That market from 2008 basically to 2012, if you will, give or take, was very soft because of the hangover from the previous years where the market was overheated. And then employers not only corrected, but then they overcorrected. What you have now is what I would call a healthy market as far as the relationship between organizations, their products, their services, their pricing in the market, the demand for generally, and this is not every sector, because the world doesn't work that way where every sector is on fire. That's just never true. But a lot of the market is very healthy, meaning companies are growing at a reasonable rate. They are hiring people at a reasonable rate, and there's a normal degree of turnover, meaning if I'm a company of 1,000 people, I likely have 10% turnover anyway, just as a normal course of life. People move, people change jobs, people open up their own businesses, people are unhappy with their employer, whatever it is, that will go on and on and on forever and ever and ever. So the 1,000-person company has to replace 100 people just to stay where they are. So to grow, they'd have to hire 120 or 150 or 200 people. That's what we're seeing now. Now, every employer is a little bit different. But I think the market in general is healthy. Now, for all of you out there, and I know a lot of you, only so many of you are in my boot camp, but one of the things we talk about in the boot camp is the mindset that you have around your job search, and that most people are looking in the wrong place and they use the wrong tactics. So not only are you looking at the wrong companies, but you're using the wrong tactics to even approach those companies, and you're not having the luck that you normally would. What all of you need to recognize, especially those who are unemployed, who are trying to find a new job, a little bit less so for those of you that are employed and happy. If you are unemployed, you have a much greater chance of getting hired by a smaller to mid-sized company. Why is that? Well, most of the positions in the world are simply generated and statistically by small to medium businesses. So 50% in the United States, but this is pretty much worldwide, but based on the U.S. Department of Labor statistics, 50% of all people work for what our United States government calls a small business. And a small business is defined as an organization with less than 500 people. And then they say, well, the other half works for the remaining companies. But what the government doesn't tell you, but you can dig a little, is that if you look at companies between 500 and 1,000 people, the next, 95% of the remaining 50% work for those companies. So companies that are medium size take up about 98% of the employees in the world. Very few while companies are very large like IBM and some of the large consulting firms like Accenture and other blue chip companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and household names like that, they employ a very, very tiny percentage of the world's working population. That's just a fact. So if you are looking to break into an organization, you have a much better chance of targeting a smaller to mid-sized company, and those organizations have a lot more flexibility in their hiring, and usually those are the companies that create most of the jobs. 2/3 of all jobs in the past 20 years have been created by small to medium businesses. I mean, that's new growing jobs that were never there before. So you should be targeting those smaller organizations, even if you've traditionally worked for a larger company. If you are flexible and nimble and interested in wearing more hats and doing more things, those smaller companies are going to give you a great opportunity. So what we always recommend is, we try to change your mindset about how you look. Then what we do is there's actually a live office hours I did about how to create a targeted company list. And I take you through 12 different steps that you can go through to build that company list. So for all of you that are out there that are having trouble locating good companies to contact, I would watch that. I would not call this market tight. I would say you have to be looking in the right spots in order for you to surface that opportunity for you. And Stephanie, looking at your background, you could work for any size company doing about 10 jobs in each of those because of the versatility of your portfolio management, project management, account development, all of those skills that are related to that have grown good customer service skills, good business analyst skills, good project management skills, relationship sales skills, all of that stuff. So there's a variety of places that you could look. And I know you've worked traditionally for some of the larger consultancies, but the whole world is out there for you. So I would loosen up. I would loosen that up. All right. Hope that helped. Sixto again. Is it okay to write 3 to 4 sentences in a small paragraph format in my professional resume to cover more instead of 1 and 1.5 sentences per bullet? Yes. And Sixto, if you have not seen how to write the perfect resume bullet point, it is a live office hours I did. I give you the 7 components to include in your bullet. You can make it 2 sentences. You can make it 3 sentences. I don't care. It's the bullet. Check that out. Pinja, I think that's Anja. Hey, Andy and everyone. I had an interview with an embassy and got feedback. I was asked if it was okay for me if my data was added to their talent pool. Now my question, how can I profit from being in their talent pool? How can I stand out? How do I remind them of my qualifications without sounding too casual or even repetitive? So that's a fantastic question. And this is for anybody who submits the resume into any applicant tracking system as well. So whether it's an embassy, a government, a community, not-for-profit, commercial organization, makes no difference. When you submit your resume is inside an applicant tracking system or some database that houses that information for that particular organization. The most important thing for you to know about the fact that your resume is in there is if at any point that is not right now and immediate, if they are in the process of recruiting and your resume gets in there and they're actively searching for you through their searches and the way that the database or applicant tracking system indexed your information, when they look up people with particular skills, they will surface you. What mostly happens is those applicant tracking systems or those databases are populated day in and day out. And what does that do? It creates a bigger list of individuals who the company is not looking at all. And so what they do is it just sits there. And no one is looking in that talent pool for you unless they have a need to do that. So what I would do is every 3 months, I would email them and just email them like, they'd never seen it before. Say, hey, a while back, I submitted my resume for a particular position. I wanted to inquire about that position and the other positions or whatever. Trust me. And if you do that every 3 months, you're not going to sound repetitive because they're not going to remember. What we actually, because we live with ourselves every minute of every day, we think that everybody out there is seeing the world the way we are. So if we're interacting with them or we're sending emails or messages or whatever, we think that they're remembering everything that we're remembering. That's not the case. So when all of you submit your resume into an applicant tracking system, trust me when I tell you, not only is it not being seen right when you send it in, but it's hardly ever being seen ever. So it's almost like you got to treat it as though you're not even in there. That's the fact of the matter. So that's what I would do. Now, when you say how could you profit, I think you mean how can you benefit. Standing out will be. I don't know that I love this expression, but you got to be a little bit of a squeaky wheel, so that you continually contact them like a good salesperson would, and just frequent follow up. That's what I would do. Okay, Stephanie Delaney. Question is, generally speaking, what does wait time mean for the applicant? If you have not heard back, does this, should you infer it's a bad signal, or do they wait for an application to end before they contact who they want? Stephanie and everybody else, the moment an employer sees somebody they want, they contact them instantly, as in right away. So they do not wait. They do not, the best organizations don't wait, because if they see somebody they like, they want to get engaged with that person. They want that person to know that they're interested in you. So they're going to contact you right away. Organizations that sit and wait to try to get all the candidates lined up for some Friday 3 weeks down the road, they never get the best candidates. Trust me when I tell you that. Trust me when I tell you that. We do not recruit. Mile Walk, my executive search firm, will not recruit for any organization that has set interview days, because that is simply not how the world operates with the best candidates. I cannot guarantee that I'm going to have somebody on a particular date on some week that you want at 11 o'clock on a Friday. That's not how the world works. We find the best person when we find the best person. So the best person, normally doesn't come along right when you're looking for her. So, organizations are constantly looking, the recruiters are constantly looking every day if that's an urgent position. And if they see somebody they like, they'll contact you right away. If you have not heard back, so you didn't give me the specifics about your wait time, if you do not hear back within 7 days of your submittal, you email them. If you send the email after 7 days and you don't hear from them for a little while, 14 days later, so 21 days from the time you submitted the initial resume, hit them again. Wait 2 more weeks, hit them again, and then file it in the back burner and mentally move on. You should have always continued moving even when you submitted the resume the first time, until you hear back from an employer and you get engaged with them. And even if you do that, I would keep going with all of your other efforts. So I hope that helps. JR, I heard that submitting your resume to one recruiter locks you into them, and submitting through other channels would kick you out of consideration. Is this a scare tactic or any part of reality? JR, that is a wonderful question. And for everybody else, I'm actually going to be doing a live office hours on recruiters. And we'll hit them all. But you asked the question today, so we're going to answer it. So for JR, I heard that submitting your resume to one recruiter locks you into them, and submitting through other channels would kick you out of consideration. Is this a scare tactic or any part of reality? So let's set the table here a little bit. JR, and the only way that this question actually makes sense is if he's or she is speaking about a third-party recruiter that's working on behalf of an organization to recruit. So what often happens is an organization that's looking for a particular individual might or might not have their own internal recruiting organization looking for people, and they also might contract out the position so that one recruitment firm or multiple recruitment firms are also looking for that person. And what will happen sometimes is if multiple recruitment firms are working on the search, as well as the internal recruiters are working on the search, they are all using the same mediums to find people out in the market. So they're sending messages and making phone calls, and they're all going after the same candidates because your profile was discovered by all 3 of those different entities. So what is normally customary is the organization, whether it's the company that is trying to recruit for the position or one of the search firms, whoever gets to you first and submits you first is the organization that gets to represent you or gets the benefit of the payment or whatever it is if you are successfully hired by the organization. Now, there are many different ways that these contracts are set up. So for most recruitment firms, most not all, if the organization in some way, shape, or form has discovered you, or you've submitted your resume through their applicant tracking system that's time-stamped or whatever, lots of organizations will not honor the contract with the recruitment firm. Okay, that's one way. Another way is both recruitment firms contacted you, but the organization didn't. You got connected with one of them, and then that recruitment firm submitted you. If that recruitment firm submitted you to the organization, from an etiquette perspective, your etiquette and their etiquette and everybody else's etiquette around them, you and that recruiter have established a relationship, and you should proceed with that recruiter who should be helping you get that job with that organization. So when you talk about locking you in, you are not locked in to that particular recruiter if you would like to go and search for other jobs with other organizations. But with that particular organization that the recruiter submitted you to, you should maintain a level of faithfulness with that recruitment firm. And trust me when I tell you, that recruitment firm wants you to be successful in getting that job. They're going to do whatever they can to help properly coach you and give you insight. And when you go through a recruitment firm, you usually have a much better chance of securing the position because you're going to get all kinds of preparation and inside information and background on people you're going to be interviewing with and what they're looking for and all that good stuff. So don't think for one second that because the recruitment firm is getting a fee or getting paid for you, that that's a bad idea. As a matter of fact, it's usually a bad idea to go it alone. So anyway, I hope that helps. It's not a scare tactic. It's on a case-by-case basis, on a company-by-company basis. But just because you're working with a recruitment firm does not mean you can only work with that recruitment firm if you're also searching for other opportunities. The one thing that I would cap this off with is if you do get engaged with a recruitment firm who is helping you with an opportunity, if other opportunities surface for you, you should advise the recruitment firm that you're working with that something else has also come up so that they are aware, so that they can also advise their client, the company you're also interviewing with, that you have some other things going on. Nothing is worse than when an organization loves you and then all of a sudden in the middle of the process, you call your recruiter, your recruitment firm and say, I decided to take another job. And then the recruiter has to go to the company and say, JR took another job. And then the company says, why didn't you tell us? Because we love JR and we would have put JR through the process a lot faster and made sure that we gave JR an offer. So, just be open and communicate and all that good stuff. All right, so I hope that helped. All right, Ben Z, how you doing? Ben Z. All right, Ben Z, thank you for this question. Hey, by the way, folks, before I get to Ben Z's question, if you're loving this, give me the thumbs up, share. Come on, we still got another good 20 minutes or so where I'm going to run through stuff, get people in here. So they might not be in time to ask questions, but they certainly can hear the responses. So Ben Z is asking, hi, Andy, I want to sign up for the boot camp, but would like to customize the program for my specific needs. How can I do that? I emailed the same question, also meaning I'm assuming he emailed me. Thanks, everybody. Number one, I read my email. I can't respond to everybody, but I read everything that comes in. Trust me, I read everything. I watch all the social shares. I watch everything. I see everything. Second thing is, if you ever see anything on the Mile Walk Academy Bootcamp included, and you have questions about any of the programs, email me and just ask me your questions, and I will respond in detail with all kinds of clarifications. I do this every day, and I love it, and I would be happy to answer your questions because I want you to be happy, and I want to make sure I can help you at the deepest level. Now, on the Bootcamp, there are 3 options right now. There is a base bootcamp where you get all the sessions with me and you get a live, you get the live sessions, you get all the recordings, you get access to everything in the Mile Walk Academy, and you get a whole year of coaching in my private monthly coaching sessions. We do them every 4 weeks, round the clock. Each month, all year long. You get all that, and that's $497. Then there's you get all that, plus you get a detailed resume review. That's another option. That's $997 normally. But today that's $200 off. Then there's another option I added this time, first time ever, because I get so many questions where people want to engage with me one-on-one. They want to have a private consultation, and I don't have a program where I have a one-off consultation service. I have a minimum of 5 sessions. That's $2,500. So what I decided was for those individuals who want to get the boot camp, they want the resume review, and they want some time with me, there's another package that I added to the boot camp, which is $14.97, which includes a coaching session with me. So it's a third option, and that also is $200 off today. But Ben might not like any of those options, and I might be able to tailor something like a boot camp and a coaching session for $9.97 or something like that. So there are ways that I can work with you, because you all are individuals. Last thing I want to do is jam you all into a one-size-fits-all program. Obviously, I hope you respect the fact that I've got to have some kind of foundation that I can use as a platform to teach. But I also recognize that everybody's a little different, so I'm happy to tailor it in any way that I can for whatever you need. And that goes with any of the programs. So we have a resume course, we have an interview course, we have a do-it-yourself course. I have my monthly coaching that you can get in for $19 a month. So we tailor a lot of things that would make sense for you. So just email me. Ben, thanks for asking that, because I like you people to know that I'm not, nothing in this world is cut and dry. Nothing in this world is black and white. I mean, we live in a gray world, and I think each individual, we need to look at the individual as an individual. So within reason, I'm willing to make accommodations to help you. I want to help you. And I hope you guys know that, and I hope you believe me, because you know what? I show up here every week on Thursday. I spend at least an hour with you week in and week out, except for when I'm holding my boot camps, which makes it really hard because I want to give them all the energy I have. But I care about getting you to where you want to be. I want to help you build a career you love, and it's you know, we need to look at the individual, and believe me, I love doing it. So, okay, hope that helped. All right, Stephanie Delaney. I am a more senior job seeker beside ATS and networking. How do you recommend getting my resume and job interest to the hiring entity? Stephanie and everybody else, one of the best tactics that you can use is, and I have a video on YouTube and as well as my blog about how to apply when there is no job opening. Every single person who is on this session, who is job searching, should go and check that video out. And in that video, there is a free cover letter. I literally typed it all out for you, and I call it my no job opening cover letter. It's also known as my 7-sentence cover letter. And that, to me, is the number one way for a senior person to get a job. So I would check that out, and everybody can have that in their repertoire. So I don't care if you are a college student coming out or looking for an internship. It matters the company you contact, not the position you apply for. This is a big mistake that people make, is they don't take advantage of reaching into organizations who do not have publicized opportunities. Because those organizations, the great ones, are always hiring, and they will always look at resumes that come in, and they're going to have a lot fewer resumes that come in, right? Because nobody's submitting their resume because there's not a publicized job opening. And the more senior you are, if you're, and Stephanie, and I just got done saying this, the speech bubble's still hanging out there about, you know, applying to smaller to mid-sized companies. If you use the no job opening cover letter to approach small to middle-sized organizations, you have got a very, very good chance of getting contacted back. Those organizations have a lot more flexibility, and they will look at a senior person's background and figure out, a lot of times, how to tailor roles for that person, especially because they're growing. Because growing companies are more malleable as far as their organizational structure is concerned. So that creates opportunities that would not otherwise be there. But boom, I see Stephanie's resume. I say, oh man, now the hamster starts running. And the reason my hamster can run is because I'm not looking through 300 other resumes for that one job. I've just got one resume to think about, just Stephanie's. And so that, folks, it is a big, big deal that you get that into your arsenal, that you get that into your job search arsenal. So I hope you like that. Cool. All right. Online marketing, August 2015. Interesting, live in South Africa. Seems that recruiters do not open my CV. I am in my 50s with lots of value and experience to be an asset to any company. I know that's a statement. But for everybody in their 50s or 40s or 60s or 70s or 30s, I don't care how old you are, most recruiters don't open CVs anyway. There's just too many of them. The big thing about somebody in their 50s is typically these are assumptions. Okay, these are assumptions. You have to overcome the biases, the preconceived notions that people have about somebody who's later in their career. I've got more energy now than I did when I was 22. I mean, I'd be hard pressed for all you 25-year-olds there who want to try to keep up with me. I get it. And online marketing, August 2015, I'm guessing you do too. So the challenge that you and I have is that when we go in and we present our resume, we have to show that their assumption is this is a more expensive resource. Their assumption is this is somebody who's been working for 30 years. They might be set in their ways. They might not have a lot of energy. They might not be interested in learning something new. They might not, and so on. These are the things that you have to overcome. It's not the fact that you're in your 50s. It's the assumptions that people make about people in their 50s. So from the time you submit that application, first off, I would go back to what I just said to Stephanie about using that no job opening cover letter and target organizations that do not have publicized openings. That's one thing. Second thing is you have to show why you're worth what you get paid. So you need to make sure that your resume has the power in it. And the other thing is recruiters don't assume that they're going to open your resume because you're highly qualified. They don't know that. You know that. So you have got to use better tactics to get your resume in front of the right people, whether it's a recruiter or a hiring official. And if you are sending resumes, this goes for everybody, doesn't matter who you are, to third-party recruiters, just assume they're not opening them. Because recruiters do not generally look at a lot of the inbound stuff. They want to be reaching out to people because recruiters find people for jobs. They don't find jobs for people. So they get lots of resumes and emails from people that say, oh, you're a recruiter, you find people jobs, here's my resume, and then you wonder why they don't call you. That's not how they work. Give you a great example. In a couple hours, Kara and I are going to be on a call with a client of ours. That client is looking for something that's this big, super tight, particular industry expertise, particular type of selling skills, particular type of solution selling skills, certain number of years of experience, and so on. Threading a needle at 1,000 yards. So if I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of resumes a day, I can pretty much bet that nobody is going to thread that needle for what I need at the moment, because starting tomorrow, I have to get my butt in gear to work for that client. And I might have a bunch of those as a recruiter. So if you're sending your resume to these recruiters and you don't thread the needle, they're never going to contact you. It has nothing to do with you. It's their motivation, how they work. Now, if you're talking about corporate recruiters, they're driven by all of their positions that they have to fill. And then usually what they do is they try to get a couple candidates for each of the positions that they have to fill. But if I have 20 positions that I'm looking to fill, and this one here has a couple people in it already, I move on to the next one, and so on. And I also am constantly rearranging my priorities based on the urgency from the hiring officials and what my boss is telling me I need to work on, because that's a bigger deal, or we're losing money because that person's not there, or whatever. So it has nothing to do with that. By the way, you know that on Monday, I mentioned this earlier, career changers can rejoice. I'm also doing a 50 and older one. That's the next one coming out. So online marketing, August 2015. Hopefully you can make that one. Okay, hey, Kara made it. All right, Ingrid, I see you have new chairs. She got them. Yes, my office has been empty. My wife and I moved in this, or my sunroom has since October, and we've been waiting for those chairs and furniture since we got in here. I don't know why it takes so long, but it did, but they're here. Hey, Wendy, hopefully you got my email. And Cecilia from London, iTeamers, love it. Nick McKay, iTeamer, love it. Roque, good to see you again from Mexico. Denise Rodriguez, we have a question. How do you convince an employer to hire somebody over 65 that is qualified once they see my age interview is over? Okay, Denise, we just got done talking a little bit about this. Check the How to Overcome the Age Discrimination video. It's on my blog and on my YouTube channel. Check that out. Stephanie, nice 5S of your work desk area. 5S? I'm not sure what that is. 5S? All right, I'm here. Oh, Mom's here. Hey, Mom. Steve Smith. Oh, here we go. Steve Smith. Wait. You know what? I need to make sure I'm toggling my timestamps. Oh. Uh-oh. Hang on. Sorry. Oh, I can't get the timestamps. Oh. All right, Steve Smith. Let go from last job, but tentatively picked another that requires government clearance, which takes time. I feel delay is a liability. Do you agree? How do you handle in any future interview? So this is a great question. We get this one a fair amount. Government clearance and security clearance, even when they're commercial organizations. My wife's son had to go through this. It took about 3 months. And he got the clearance after he got the job because they paid for all that. All that stuff is a liability. There's no way around it. Let's not sugarcoat it. Time is never anybody's friend when you need to hustle and get that job. Time is often your friend if you can be patient and take a step back, catch a breath, and evaluate the situation. But I realize that's not the reality for a lot of people, that you need to work. You need to go back to work to put food on the table. So what I would do is, Steve, and for anybody else, while that stuff is going on and while you're trying to get your clearance, whether you're doing it on your own or the government is willing to hire you on a temporary basis until you can get that clearance, I would keep looking for other work. That's what I would do. And the reason that I would advise that is because you can only control what you can control. So I would not take chances. I really wouldn't. D. Rowley from around the block. Good to see you. Cindy Christopher. That's a new name from San Jose. Maybe you're a first timer. I don't know. JR again. I'm self-employed. I'm a self-employed consultant seeking direct full-time position. I get the feeling that potential employers may think I am going to poach customers and leave quickly. Then you have a follow-up. I have demonstrated long-term commitment engagements employment. In what other ways can I mitigate those concerns? Okay, fantastic question. So for all of you consultants out there that would like to go to full-time positions, it is a reluctance, not insurmountable. It is a reluctance on an employer's part that they get concerned that if you have been a consultant for a very long time, that you might not be happy being in one spot. Now, in order to alleviate their concerns, and by the way, let's focus on that because I'm not going to get in all the resume and all that other stuff that I would do, but because you're talking about their reluctance, let's focus on the reluctance issue. You have to have a very good, sound, plausible story for why you want that full-time employment. And one of the easiest ways to help the employer get over their reluctance is to show them, and by the way, I'm making an assumption here, but in 90% of the cases, when consultants want to take a full-time position, it's usually because the strain of finding new work is very stressful. And a lot of times they would feel better if they had a full-time home to go to. They were getting full-time benefits, had some paid vacations, some other things that go along with the wonderful employment packages that companies put out. And so I would stress that I don't know if you are a technology consultant, a financial consultant, or whatever you might be, but most consultants are not great salespeople. They have a trade that they consult on, unless you're a sales consultant. So I would really hammer that home if that's the case. And the other thing that is you can have going for you, and I don't know your specific background, but if as a consultant you've had long time engagements like a year or longer, that's a really good sign. If you were doing a lot of 1 to 2 month or 3 month gigs and then you kept rolling them over, well, actually you probably do have good selling skills if that's the case. But it would make an employer more nervous to see a lot of little runs than if you said, let's say you were a consultant for 10 years and you had like 10 jobs, 10 different gigs. That would be cool. So that's what I would do, and I would really hit that. Morrow, how are you? iTeamer, can we give Morrow a shout out? He just passed a phone interview, and I'm glad the interview folks, Morrow is on the interview team. He took this book. He read it. He emailed me. He said, I've got a phone interview. Do you have any tips? I emailed him back. I sent him to my phone interview blog post. He read it, nailed it, and he's on his way. So shout out to you, Morrow. Glad that worked. Please let me know how the next round turns out. I know you're going to kill it. All right, Cindy. Cindy asks, how to answer the salary expectation question on an online application. So Cindy, we get this one a lot. My standard 100% of the time answer is when you fill in the application, and you obviously you haven't spoken with anybody yet. I'm assuming you're filling in an application as a first-time entry point into getting engaged with a company. What I would do is, if the salary box is a free form text, meaning it is just open, you can fill it in however you want, I would write open and or negotiable, something like that. It's a perfectly acceptable answer. If it is a required field and it is numerical and they give you a drop down, a range to select, either radio buttons or a drop down menu, and you can select between 30,000 and 34,999, 35,000 and 39,999. If it's something that you have to fill in, then what I recommend is you fill in your current salary. What you don't want to do at this stage in the process is price yourself out or ask for too little or whatever. When you actually speak with somebody, you're going to go through a different levels of response that you're going to give them. I teach you how to do every single one of those in a live office hours session that I did before called Why You Don't Get Paid What You Deserve. And I take you through all the different steps, and I teach you how to handle it from the beginning throughout the process. Check that out. But I would, no good can come from you putting a high salary in expectation in there. And trust me when I tell you, nobody is going to hold you to what you put on the application. And when you get the phone screen or you get the in-person interview, you can just explain to them that I just put in my current salary because I'm open and it's negotiable. And I'm interested in understanding what I get to do, who I get to do it with, what my possible career growth is, the training opportunities, the whole benefit package, all of that stuff matters to me. Compensation, while important, is only one component. And since at this moment, I only know so much about the company through my research, I'm really looking forward to finding out all those other things. And based on that information, I will be able to give you a much better assessment of what my expected compensation is at the end of the interviewing process. That's what you should do. So that's how I would handle that. Hope that helps. All right. Pinja, which is Aja. Q&A session for our questions. Feels like a holiday, Andy. By the way, it's a holiday today in Germany, Ascension Day. Can I get a shout out for all my German friends on this live office hours session? What I absolutely love, and thank you for being in my community, and thank you for the effort you're putting in on the interview intervention team, Anja. I mean, I very much appreciate it, and I want everybody to know I've just been blown away ever since I've been giving away the book. Ever since we started doing this book campaign, I discovered that 38% of my community is international, which I love. I love. And y'all are costing me a fortune in shipping fees. But that's okay. I love you, and I'm happy to do it. So I love that the world is so small and that we can help each other out, and that I can reach people in Ireland and Belgium and South Africa and Mexico and in Australia. I got a lot of Australians and Canadians and all kind of folks in Hong Kong and China and all kinds of places. So I love it, love it, love it. Harshad, hey, good to see you, bud. Love my boot campers, man. Hey, Harshad, hopefully we're going to see you on Tuesday. All right, Angry Cat, so cool. I'm not sure what that was, but everything we do at Live Office Hours is cool. Let me see, where are we at here? Oops, God, here we go. Whoop. All right. Mark Peckney, boot camper. He had an 80 times return on his investment, and it was worth every penny. Mark, thank you for that. Mark is in a new job. He's off and running. Last week, Cassie was on, and she got a 50 times ROI. I got an email yesterday from one of the college students who got a 200% ROI on his boot camp. Folks, the stuff works. We have a great time. I'd love to see you. And remember, today only, $200 off the big packs. So I love it. Mark, thank you for the shout out. Judy, great to see you, an I-teamer. Alpha Mega Radio Channel, Pat Bailey is here. Love it. Garrett Travis, not sure what you wanted, but good to see you. Sasha from Ireland, great. He's an I-teamer. Angry Cat, I don't know what all that means. Sunshine, is that your long-awaited furniture? Yes. Yes, and I sat in the chairs once. It's been here. They've been here since Saturday because we've been working so much. All right. Okay, Thomas. How do I get experience trying to go from being an auto tech to IT support? I love that question. One of the best ways for you in that specific situation, because IT is something where a lot of the trade is readily available to learn on your own through classes and things you can take on different online universities, meaning just schools, even like my boot camp. You can get education that way. There are a lot of certification training programs that you can pay for and become certified, in particular software languages, hardware platforms, networks, whatever it might be, whatever kind of IT support you want. So for somebody who's making a kind of a wholesale change that's moving in, him or her that are moving into IT, there's lots of stuff you can read up on, take on your own. Paid training as well. Those are great ways to make the change. And Thomas, I hope you will join me. Folks, remember, Monday night only, 12 steps to career change success. I'm going to take you through the whole process. And Thomas, I will give you all 12 of the steps and the sub-steps to that and what I would do. So I hope you stop by. Hope you guys are with me on Monday. All right. Yigs. I just had an on-site panel interview. Is it okay to give the same star scenario to two different interviewers who ask similar questions? So I'm assuming you mean you're using the star technique to a behavioral interviewing question. I'll define all this in a second here, folks. And two different interviewers in the same room in the same session. You want to use the same story. If I got all that correct, here's what I would say. Number one, in a panel interview, if you get different questions by different people, do not use the same stories. So no, I would not, to answer your question. Second thing is I would not use the STAR technique. It's not very effective. In STAR is like situation, task, action, result. I would not use that. I would check out my live office hours where it was just about a month ago where I talked about how to answer questions in a job interview. I take you through the methodology to do that. And I would use those techniques. But no, I would not use the same story. If the interviews are at different times, then you could use the same story if need be. I would also share with the individual that you were asked that question and you shared this story with somebody else. Would it be okay to share that? But I would probably have a backup as well. You should always have a couple stories for each response. By the way, if you guys have not seen it yet, I have a free webinar called 3 Keys to Ace Any Job Interview. In that webinar, I give away a fantastic ebook. It's magazine style. It's called Ace Your Job Interview, Master the Best Responses to the 14 Most Effective Job Interview Questions. And in that booklet, I also give you 43 variations of those 14 questions. So it's really 43 questions. And I give you the variations. I tell you why the employer asks them, what the employer is looking for, and the very best responses, and some color around that. So I would grab that. It's free. So go and knock your socks off. The webinar itself is about an hour and some change. And then the booklet I give it at the end. I always give the free downloads at the end of my webinars. But it's really, really helpful. Really helpful. Okay, folks, 12:10. Let's go 5 more minutes. If you're loving this, don't forget to give me the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed because I've got some really cool stuff coming to the YouTube channel, and I won't always be emailing my list about it. There's going to be some surprise stuff happening on the YouTube channel, so I hope you're joined up. And Angry Cat is speaking Japanese. It certainly looked Japanese to me. Stephen Mack, my buddy from around the block. He's an I-teamer with a year's worth of complimentary coaching. Glad you are loving that. Your leadership and quality of product is fantastic. Thank you, Stephen. Love it, love it. Thank you. Heading to an interview now. Kristen Morrison. Kristen. Okay, we'll see you later in the Facebook group. Good luck to you. 10P. Okay, so wait, this is a fantastic question. All right, so 10P is asking, hi Andy, what if an employer told you that they are still interviewing other candidates, though you feel that you aced your interview and told you to wait within 1 to 2 weeks for them to finish out their interviewing process? 10, that's A-okay. It happens very often. If you aced your interview, the most important thing to do is make sure that you were following up effectively with the thank you emails. They told you it would be a week or 2. So what I would do is make sure you send your thank you email immediately after your interview. So anybody who has an interview should send a thank you email and even drop a card in the mail within 24 hours. And if you don't know how to do that, check out my video on how to thank the employer after an interview. I give you the template. It's a free download and all that good stuff. After you do that, wait a week. And they said 1 to 2 weeks. So what I would do is wait a week. If you haven't heard anything in a week, maybe you wait, because they said 1 to 2 weeks, maybe you wait about 10 calendar days. Check in and just say, hey, I just wanted to check in and confirm and express my interest in the position. I wanted to know if there are any updates. Would be interested in knowing if there's any updates. And then see if they respond. If they don't respond, then a couple more days goes by, you're going to be about at the 2-week mark. If the 2-week mark hits, so now you've waited, say, 3 or 4 more days, then I would probably wait a day or 2, and I would send them another email, because that'd be a week in between your follow-up email and your second follow-up email. So that's what I would do, and I wouldn't take it personally. Employers do this. There's scheduling items that need to be taken care of. Lots of times people are traveling. Sometimes it's candidate scheduling. Sometimes it's the interviewer schedule. So I would not be concerned about that, but I would follow up, and your follow-ups should be very, very short. I just want to, confirm my interest. I'm eager to hear back. Something very simple and actually casual, but professional too. So that's what I would do there, Tin. Hope that helped. Okay. Sung Wan. Yes, good. Glad you're getting the book. Mick, you are welcome. You are welcome. Online marketing, August 2015. QQ, I'm assuming that's a question. My resume on ATS comes out with no supervision role as an accountant. Does this disqualify me? No. All right. Carla Stokes. How are you, Carla? Good to see you. Carla Stokes. All right. Hi, Andy. I'm the one relocating to San Diego in higher education. Yes, I remember that. Employers ask that my cover letter address how I meet the qualifications. How many should I address? Great question. Okay, let's roll tape here again. Carla Stokes asked, "Hi Andy, I'm the one relocating to San Diego in higher education. Employers ask that my cover letter address how I meet the qualifications. How many qualifications should I address?" Carla, people love things in threes. It's magical. 3 bullets in the highlight section of your resume. Three qualifications you should address. You don't want the cover letter to be too long. Now that my base cover letters that I've given you don't go into great detail about how, line by line, qualification by qualification, match it all up, because I don't want the cover letters to be too long. But if you are getting direction from the employers that say, please address how you meet our qualifications, then do a little mapping and pick the 3 most critical qualifications that you feel are required to do that job well. 3 is your magic number. I hope that helps. Okay. David D. Esserte. Oh man, what a pretty name. All right. How does anyone get past the stigma of having filed a claim of discrimination against a former employer when interviewing with prospective employers? Note, legal case is still in process. However, that legal case should not be public. At least the details of that should not be public. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think that even if so, I'm assuming that you filed the case. Or you made the claim, you filed the claim, and now you are, and it's a former employer, so you're no longer working there. If anybody does a background check on you and calls that employer, and that employer reveals anything about you other than your name, your rank, your serial number, when you worked there, and so on, that's illegal. So I would not be too concerned about that. I wouldn't bring it up. I wouldn't mention it. I don't think that there's anything that you need to say about it. I would leave it alone. I would actually leave alone. I really would. Okay. Wendy Steinberg, is there a way to ask an HR rep if they already have someone in mind for the job? Yes. You just answered your own question, Wendy. That's what I would do. What I would do for all of you. When you submit your applications and you get your cover letters in, your resumes, they get back to you. You are well within your right to say, what does the candidate landscape look like? Maybe not use those words, but just what does the process entail, and what does your candidate pool look like right now? And how do I stack up? Ask them. It's okay. You know what? If they ask you, say, hey, Wendy, are you interviewing with anybody else at the moment? You tell them, I'm interviewing with company XYZ and company ABC, and I have this position, and I'm interviewing for that position, and here's where I am. I had the phone screen here. I've been through 2 interviews there. This company told me that I'm at the final stages. Whatever it is, lay it out for them. Transparency is good in these cases, and you will get back what you give off. It's like everything in life and in the universe. So be honest with them, ask for honesty from them. You'll get it. And then what Wendy is saying is, I'm asking because the state university I work for does this often. Is there a way to know? Yeah, I would ask. I honestly would ask. All right, Dinesh, he's up and awake. Randy Milliken, how are you? All right, let's get Randy's question here. Hi, Andy. How do employers view experienced candidates with recently getting a graduate degree of certifications? I love it. It doesn't matter to me how young or how old you are. Graduate degrees, certifications, all that stuff is nice. But keep in mind that education is expensive. So somebody who goes to some of these big schools for their MBA that's going to spend $250,000, you're never getting it back, okay? You're never getting it back. The value in an MBA predominantly is the relationships that you build, the network of people. You're going to meet a lot of great people. The ability for that school and that program to open your eyes to other things you might be interested in. That's cool. I love that. Give you some language and vocabulary for areas that you might not otherwise have, that's cool too. That's cool too. But it is going to take you the rest of your life to get that 250 back. So the meaning you could have been earning or you know, whatever profession you wanted to continue on, but it might reroute your career. So it might make it easier for you to transition from engineering to finance or something like that. MBAs and other higher degrees are awesome and valuable in that regard. So ROI is not just a dollars and cents thing, but I'm just talking about the money there for a second. But for you, I don't know what the cost of the graduate degree is. I don't know what the time cost of the graduate degree is. But I always feel like anytime you go and get schooling, what you want to do is you just want to make sure that that schooling is in direct alignment with what it is you want to do. You want to go be a paralegal? Go do that. You want to go be a nurse? Go do that. You want to be a lawyer? Great. Doctor? Fine. You know, you're getting really, really directed by those curriculums, taking that higher education and so on. So I think it's fantastic. I really do. All right, Alana, yesterday I interviewed with an ad agency. It was my 4th interview overall, but my 2nd for a new account manager position, same title, different area of focus that HR recommend I pursue. It was my first time meeting with the ad director, who also happened to be one of the owners. Things went well. What was supposed to be a half an hour turned into 50 minutes. At the end, the ad director asked if I had time to meet with one of his colleagues before she headed off to a meeting. Okay, I'm not sure where the question is. Oh, wait. Well, that colleague was actually 2, and they both needed to jump on a client call right then. We chatted in a rapid fire for 8 minutes with me mainly answering their questions. Oh, man. 6 hours later, HR calls me and says they decided they wanted someone with more account management experience. I emailed the ad director thanking him for his time and asking if, based on our interactions, there were areas I can improve. Where's the question? Looking at my resume, it's clear. All right, wait. I'm not sure how many of these. I'm so sorry, Alana. I'm trying to get to the question. Okay, wait. Here's the gist. Should I ask the ad director why he'd have me meet with his colleagues right before they were going to hop on a call if they were seriously considering me for the position? I have absolutely no idea, and I'm guessing that the ad director didn't know that they were going to be jumping on that call, and he or she really liked you. That would be my guess. All right, let me see if I can get back to Gloria. How do we get the book for $7? Thank you for asking. Folks, so the link to the book is in the description of this live session. So you're probably watching it on your browser. If you just click see more or show more, actually right in the top, there's a link. It says bit.ly/YT free interview intervention. You can grab that. You can Google Andrew LaCivita free interview intervention. There's a little book page, and you just fill in your name, you click the button, and then it takes you to another page where you put your credit card information in and you give me your shipping address. The one thing that's really neat too is you will be creating an account in the Mile Walk Academy, because what I also have is the eBook, which is in a PDF format, works on all the readers in your computer and all that good stuff. And then each chapter in Interview Intervention. So each chapter in this book is the audio is recorded discreetly, and so you can download the recording, and if you want to just listen on your way to your interview to the chapter where I tell you about how to answer the 14 best interview questions, or how to ask your questions, or how to tell stories, it's all discreetly separated for you. And then I also included, it's not just the ebook and the audiobook in the digital experience, it's my chapter notes and other stuff. I mean, this is the coolest little giveaway, and for $7, it's an absolute steal. Absolute steal. Because the book's $29, and the ebook and audiobook, chapter notes and guides and all that stuff is like $27. But that's, just click the link. And by the way, I mean, we are running through like 200 of these a day, and I only bought a few thousand of them. So grab them while you can. All right, Harshad. Stephanie took their stuff back. KG, you're welcome. Linda Howard, that's a new name to me, or actually maybe not. But Linda spells her name like my wife, Linda. I love it, with a Y. Okay, so Linda is returning to work after a career break to homeschool her kids. I don't yet have experience needed for data analyst role I want, but jobs that give experience say I'd get bored. How do I tackle this? So Linda, nobody can tell you that you're going to be bored or excited or whatever. You feel how you feel. So my response to that would be, first thing is, are you clear on what those data analyst roles entail? Do they match your requirements? So one of the things that we talk about this in the boot camp for hours, about creating a good picture, becoming very self-aware, your needs, and all this good stuff. For you, I would make sure I list out all of my requirements, my needs, things that excite me, stuff I absolutely have to have in my job and in my company, the things that I don't want as well. And then I would evaluate the data analyst role, and I would speak to other data analysts. I would try to research data analysts and Google this stuff and read about what they do specifically, what they like, what they don't like, all that good stuff. And I would then package up my story and say, okay, based on my research and my understanding of what this role entails, the reason I'm interested in doing it is because. And if the rationale is strong and sound, we want you to be happy, I would think you'd be able to overcome that hurdle. The other thing that I would do is head to my blog, go to andrewlacivita.com, and if you type stay-at-home parent or stay-at-home mom in the search bar, I have a booklet that walks you through the 10 or 12 steps, not everything I do is 12 steps, by the way, but this one happens to be 12 steps of how to go from stay-at-home parent to professional again. So it's right up your alley there. So I hope that helps. All right, let me see. Let me see. I'm going to take one more here because we're coming down on 12:30. Harshad. Hey, buddy. All right. Oh, wait. It says number 2. Did I miss number 1? Oh, it looks like you retracted that. Oh, here we go. This is a great question. Harshad, I think I got the whole thing here, too. Harshad said he's not getting response to his LinkedIn request for referral to jobs he's really keen on. Should he apply online if he can't get a referral? So, yes, I would do that. However, I would do 2 things first. I would start targeting individuals that work at those companies, and I would try to network with them. Literally, open up a relationship with them. Send them a message and say, "Hey, I'm investigating the market. I noticed you work at company XYZ. It is an organization that I would like to learn more about. Do you enjoy working there? Would you be open to connecting?" Just online, or just something nice like that. Not everybody's going to connect back, but I would target individuals like that, and then see if you can get a little bit of dialogue going, and if you can, a couple or 3 or 4 exchanges, say, could you point me in the direction of the right person? And see if you can do that. Now, the other thing is, even if they don't point you in the direction of the right person, but if they get connected with you, it'll be nice, because if you ultimately have to apply online, the recruiter is likely going to check your LinkedIn profile, and he or she's going to see that you're connected with these people. So what I would also do is, before I submitted anything via the applicant tracking system, I would also try to email somebody directly. So I would try, even if it's a generic mailbox, but you're better off sending a tailored email than trying to fill in the ATS. So that's what I would do. And there's many ways of trying to find out who that right person is. We won't go into all that, but that's the route I would take. So I I would start looking for people you can connect with, see if people that you don't know, you can build up a little relationship, get some momentum, and try to get in that way. The other thing that I would do then is try to find the recruiter, the HR person, or the hiring official, or somebody you can get a tailored email to, and I would do that. I hope that helps. All right, folks, I got to run to a meeting, but I loved every minute of this, all 90 minutes of it. Remember, this little guy, $7, big impact, $7. The hardcover, the ebook, and the audiobook. We got 12 steps to career change success. The link for that event is in the description here. It's 5 p.m. Monday. It is a one night only, no replay. So I hope you can show up for that. Tuesday, the boot camp starts. So today only, there's $200 off the 2 big packages and $100 off the base package. The $100 off for the base package runs through Monday night, but the $200 off the resume review and the coaching session is only tonight. So if you got any questions, you can email me. I'm continually looking at my emails, and we're constantly monitoring all of that to make sure that we're getting your questions answered. Live office hours is going to be off for the next couple of weeks because I'm going to be in the boot camp. So, and I think we return and we run like all the way through June. So the schedule will come out. If you're on my Tips for Work and Life email list, you'll be getting the schedule, but we'll be starting up after the boot camp. And for all my boot campers and all my I-teamers and all of you out there, thank you for being a big part of my community. I love having you. I love engaging with you every Thursday. I'll see you in a couple weeks, but hopefully I'll see you in the boot camp. So if you got any questions, just hit me. And lastly, make sure to share this stuff and subscribe to the channel if you're loving it so you don't miss anything. All right, until a couple of weeks, have a great one. We'll see you soon.